Hey everybody, it's Rajesh here.
Intane here.
Welcome to our podcast, Baskets of Knowledge, Chats with a Difference. In our podcast, we invite guests from around the country and around the world to talk about how they got to where they're at the moment. It's about a journey, it's about an experience, it's about their life.
Kia ora koutou, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Baskets of Knowledge. And like the last episode, it's just me today. Tane is still at work. Some people have got to work and he's doing his work and he's got to do what he's got to do. So it's myself and obviously our guest who I'll introduce in a bit. But as always, I like to share what I've been put into my basket of knowledge over the last few weeks. And again, it's from the book that I said the last time, which was the Almanac of Naval Ravikant. And there was a line in there that really I want to talk about. It says, inspiration is perishable, act on it immediately. And I thought about that because a lot of us wait for times to be inspired, then the inspiration comes, and then we say we'll do it tomorrow. And when tomorrow comes, it disappears. So I love the fact that in that moment, even if it's not doing everything, it's doing one thing towards whatever that inspiration is. And it's a challenge that I find with myself, and I've become really aware of the fact that, you get inspired or motivated. The two words get used interchangeably. But when you wait for inspiration and motivation, you're not going to be doing much. And I think the reason I picked that quote today is because I think the guest I'm going to introduce in a second, if they had waited for inspiration and said tomorrow, I don't think they'd be where they were today or where they are today. And we'll get into that story as we do that there. But enough about me. Let's introduce our guest tonight, this afternoon. My guest is someone that I was really privileged to meet a few months ago, and like our guest last week, this is a person that I met on the speakers camp a few months ago. And what I really enjoyed about this person that I'm going to introduce in a second is just how warm they are. They have such a warmth around them. They were someone that I've never met before, they're a stranger, but the warmth they eluded in the room was really beautiful. But then hearing their story really just blew me away and blew us all away because as you know, in our podcast we talk about stories, and the stories of reality versus perception is so powerful. And I'm really excited to have our guest on today. But apart from that, also when I spent some time with her after the boot camp, just the warmth, the down to earthness, and just the fact that they are just a fantastic human being just really attracted me to bring them on this podcast. Yeah. So without any further ado, welcome to Bastards of Knowledge Day.
Thank you so much. Gosh, you've made me blush. It's
It's
a
all
pleasure to
true.
be here. I'm so excited we've finally been able to connect.
Yes,
Thank
it's been a
you.
while in the making. Di, for people who know nothing about you, who is Di today on the 26th of September 2025?
Who's Di today? Wow. Di is a whole different person than she was a month ago, a year ago, 20 years ago. Um, whew, who is Di? Di's a mum, Di's a wife. Does a lover of life. I love adventuring. I love getting out, seeing new places. I'm quite curious. I'm a bit of a curious being, and I think that has held me in quite good stead through my life. I like to know how things work, figure things out. I'm a business owner. I've been a business owner for 23 years now. I'm the president of the Bookkeepers Association in New Zealand as well. And gosh, I don't know. Who is Di? Di's on a journey. Di's on a journey. That's who Di is. She's just always
Yeah,
learning, always learning. Yeah. And very
yeah,
open to opportunities. Yeah.
yeah. And
Mm.
I love that, Di,
Mm.
because most people when they jump on, they start off with their title, like I'm a blah. But I love the fact that you started off with the fact that, hey, I'm a mum, I'm a wife. Those are the things
Yeah.
which are innately just human. This is who you are in the
Mm.
world. And then the fact that you're curious. And then I had a bit of a chuckle because the business thing came right at the end. And I go, oh yeah, by the way, I'm also a business owner, which is
Oh, yeah,
really
by the way, I kind of do
by the
this.
exactly, yeah, by the way, and I'm gonna cycle back to what you said just before. If we met Di 20 years ago and we said to the Di 20 years ago, hey, Di, in 20, actually 23 years ago, we said, hey, in 23 years' time, you'll be doing all these things. What would you have said to that Di?
I said, whose leg are you trying to pull?
Yeah,
Who are you kidding? Who are you kidding? Di
yeah,
23 years ago was a solo mum, two little girls, one with some big health challenges, and was struggling to keep a roof over their head, food on the table, and just, yeah, I mean, she was very resilient, and she still is very resilient.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, she just would have been like, who are you kidding? Who are you
Yeah.
kidding? Yeah,
Yeah. And
absolutely.
and if you allow me to, if we go back to that time that, 23 years ago, your life changed a little bit. What was the moment for you where you went from this is the world I have at the moment to I want to change? What was was there a moment that defined how you decided to change that, your resilience came to the fore?
Hmm. No, there's not usually one thing with
Yeah.
me. You know, it's always about choice, right? There is this has really come into my very much into my thinking the last this last 6 months is around, we all have a choice at any time. We have opportunities that come up, and how we live, or what we can't choose what happens to us, but we can choose how we react to things, and we can choose to take opportunities that come up. I was working two jobs at the time. I was working part-time, 20 hours a week for Ministry of Fisheries, and I had a second job doing the bookkeeping, payroll, etc. for a plumber. And all that came into my mind was, man, there must be so many more people who need help, like this guy does. Like that was the thought that came in my head. And so, was that a moment? I don't know if it was a moment. It was just a thought. And for me, it's like I plant a seed and then see where it goes. So it kind of percolates over a period of time. And then I find things happen and opportunities come to me that kind of relate back to that. And it's like, oh, I can take them, or I can't. It's up to me to choose. And yeah, and it was an opportunity to come up to do the books for another person. And I'm like, okay, let's just start a business. I mean, yeah, let's
As
just start
as
a
as as
business.
you do, right? Oh yeah.
As you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think I've always been probably have a lot of self-confidence just in myself and who I am and I guess my abilities. Yeah, I think I've always had a lot of self-confidence. So that probably helped. But that was built over time, and that boils right down to my childhood, right? That was my
Mhm.
upbringing. That feeds into that. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What I love
Hmm.
there, Ty, is a lot of people say there was a particular moment where things changed for you, but I love how it was a collection of things and then something happened.
Yeah,
Because we all search for the one moment, but the one moment is a collection of lots of moments.
it is. Yeah, it is. I mean, for some people, there is a moment that changes their life
Yeah,
completely, and I get that. But for me, it was just like, it was a thought. Then there was a percolate on that, and there was opportunity that came up, and then it's like, actually, yeah, I can actually do something with this. This could work.
yeah,
I hope, because I've got two little kids to feed, so
yeah.
fingers crossed. Yeah,
And that
yeah,
leads so well into the next question, I guess, for you is you have these two jobs and you've got your two young people that depend on you and taking I'm going to use the word plunge in inverted commas to start a new
Mm.
business with two young people. What is it like for you? You've got the confidence, you've got all that there, but also the reality is you have to still pay the bills and look after. What is the emotion for you as you were going through that, if you can remember?
yeah. I do remember. There was fear. There was fear around what if this doesn't work out. Um, what I decided to do was to start the business while I was still working. So my one client I was doing on wages, flip them onto contract as a business owner. Then got another client, but I was still doing my 20-hour week job somewhere else. So it kind of went aligned for a little while until it got to the point where I actually don't have time to do my paid job now.
Yeah,
And and it's like, well, this is where I take the plunge. This is the choice I make. I either stay where I'm at or I take the plunge and go in and see what happens. I guess at that time, I was just also moving in with my then my now hubby, my then boyfriend, way back then. And I said to him, "Look, you need to know that this is what I'm planning, I'm doing." And he was just like, "Go for it, go for it." And so very lucky to have his support as part of that. This guy taking on this lady with two young kids
Yeah.
and wants to kind of leave the paid job and give this business thing a go. And yeah, and he just fully backed me for it. So, which was amazing because that helped the
Yeah.
journey. So yeah, yeah. So I was
Yeah.
very lucky, very blessed. Mm.
Yeah. And it's always, in the journey, the solo journeys that we have, we think about it's never solo. There's always one or two people that are in your corner that if they weren't
Absolutely.
there, it might be a different story, if
Yeah,
all different conversation we're having today.
yeah. Yeah, I think I probably still would have got where I was going
Yep.
because because I'm quite stubborn like that. But it was certainly a lot nicer having, or a lot more comfortable, I guess, having
Yeah.
that support wrapped around me at that point to to kind of go, okay, you're taking me on, but I want to leave my job, so it means you're literally taking us on. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was great having that support. And I was very lucky having the support of my mum and dad to help with the kids when I needed as well. So yeah, it
Yeah.
was definitely a family kind of thing, if you like. Yeah,
It takes
taking
a
that
village, right?
plunge.
It takes a village, right?
It totally takes a village,
Yeah.
honestly. Anyone who is trying to raise kids on their own, I take my hat off to you. Seriously, I
Yeah.
was super blessed to have my parents involved in the bringing up of my kids. Very, very blessed. So, yeah. Mm.
I love that. I love that acknowledgement there because, we've got to acknowledge those that help us. It's not a solo journey, it's an acknowledgement to whatever that help was. It just takes,
Yeah.
as you said before, it makes things more comfortable and much nicer.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it really does. It really does. And we need to acknowledge those things, right? Like
Yeah.
we're not superwomen and we're not supermen. Like we can't, I won't say we can't. It's a lot harder to do everything on your own.
Yeah.
And I know because that's what I tried to do right through my business journey. And that was due to my upbringing. I was brought up in an era of parents who didn't really communicate with their children. And um, but one of the lessons I had from my parents through that is if you want anything in life, you've got to do it on your own. You've got to get it yourself. Like no one's gonna help you. You know,
Yeah.
don't rely, not no one's gonna help you. Don't rely on help from other people. Like you've got to go and do it. So I very much grew up with that mentality. And it's actually not true. It's
Yeah.
not true. You don't have to do it all on your own. But I raised my business under that premise and was probably a lot harder than it needed to be in some areas. And if I had reached out for help, things might have, ended up slightly different. I don't know. I don't know because it didn't happen, but or at that time it didn't happen. And it's only really been in the last probably 5 or 8 years that I've called in help with things. So yeah, I realized, we can't do this on our own. We can't do life on our own. Like I was well aware of that, but yeah, in my head it was like I've got to make this work. I shouldn't be putting this on my now husband to support us. I've got to make this work and keep bringing in some money, keep food on the table, keep the kids fed. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's so true. And as you think
Mhm.
about your business journey, and I reflect back, 20, 30 years ago, the world was a different place.
Yeah,
You're a young woman, you have two young people, and you probably this is a huge assumption, I could be totally incorrect. You're
please
probably
go
trying to
ahead.
get
I'm
the,
interested to
the,
hear your
the,
assumptions.
the assumption I have is you are trying to get into a market that is probably male dominated in or maybe not.
Yes.
And
Yes.
what is it like for you? Because the world is very different, and yeah, you are trying to break into this market here where gender had a huge say.
Yeah. Yeah. Old white males
Yeah,
market pretty much is what it
yeah,
was back then, to be frank.
yeah,
His name probably was Frank, but yeah, to be frank, it was very much that market. And and I was seen as competition. So, just for your listeners to understand, I started a bookkeeping business, which is closely aligned with accounting. Now, the accounting industry was considered, shirt and ties, old men, and very much a boys' club, very much a boys' club. So it was, yeah, it was a little bit interesting kind of coming in because, accountants and bookkeepers, if they work together, it's magic for their clients, like absolute pure magic. And I was incredibly lucky to be doing some work with a client, and their accountant was a young and up and coming accountant, and he was super impressed with the work that we were producing for them and the ease it made for the client and for them to help support the client from an accounting perspective. And so he became a bit of a mentor because, as I said, I'm quite curious and I like to know how things work. And it was from him I basically learned how accounting happens. And that stood me in really good stead because I then became the interpreter between the accountant and the client, and was able to interpret information both ways because accountant speak is not understood by most everyday New Zealand business owners, right? Like that's
Yeah.
the reality. So you've got to be able to connect the dots and what this person is saying is what this person's hearing.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it kind of became this connector. And there was also a flow of clients between us as well. So he put a lot of clients through us due to the work that we were doing. So I was really incredibly lucky to connect with him and that he saw the value in what we were doing. Because that really helped in my journey along the way. So yeah.
And I acknowledge that there because again, as you said before, there was a person that in your world at that point in time was like, hey, you're not competition, you're someone that I can work with. And I think the
Yeah.
world at the moment is so competitive with lots of things, but if we collaborate, I think we can go
Yeah.
so much further. I love that happened for you.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, and it's so much more like that now, which is
Yeah.
great. There's been the advent of software, online software and technology that allows accountants and bookkeepers and other people to work together on a single file, if you like. If you're talking about Xero and MIB, you have a single file that everyone logs into. That has made the collaboration even better for those that have picked it up and worked with it. And it's certainly swung that way now, which is fantastic. Most accountants see the value in having a bookkeeper doing the GST and the day-to-day bank reconciliations and supporting the client at a ground level, grassroots level, as opposed to that kind of more advisory space that accountants would normally sit in. Yeah, yeah. So it
That's
was just fantastic to have that support.
a beauty. And I don't want the whole podcast about your business because there's more than much even the business, but there's one thing I just want to just touch on, which is um your work was recognized because I was doing some research before and I saw that you were nominated or voted as one of the top 50 women in accounting for 2020 and 2021. What does that make you feel as these awards are bestowed on you because they come from your peers, you don't go searching for them.
Yeah, I know. Interesting, eh? Um, that was quite mind-blowing. Really, I still kind of go, really? Wow. Um, 2020, I think I was the only New Zealander nominated
Wow.
in 2020. In 2021, I was only one of two nominated, and I think both of us were named in the top 50. So for someone who's not an accountant, but in the accounting industry, um, that was pretty special.
Yeah.
That was pretty special. Yeah, yeah. I remember I remember when I won my first award, which was actually back in 2007, and I had entered the Westpac Excellence Business Awards, which are run through the Chamber of Commerce every year. And the reason I entered that was I had no idea if what I was doing was right. Was it the right thing on how to run a business? I didn't know anyone who was in business to ask questions of. And I thought, well, they talk about this being a helicopter view on your business to get an overview on, kind of where you're at, I suppose. And that was probably one of the best things I ever did was go through that application process because it really did make me go, okay, what am I doing in this area? What am I doing in this area? And what am I doing in this area? The only thing where I kind of went, oh, I don't do that was when they asked to see my business plan. So, okay, I don't have one of those, but anyway, that's okay. Not a written one anyway. And yeah, so that was a bit of an interesting process going through that. And I'd entered the professional services category that year. And first year entering, didn't really know many business people in Whangarei either, so I got to know some of them through that process. And I actually won. I won the award that night, which was just like blew my mind, completely blew my mind. Because I'm like, here's this little solo mum, little business. Like, what do I know? Well, apparently I knew quite a lot. So that was really good because it just gave me the confidence. To go, actually, I do know what I'm doing. I have got this. I'm doing okay. Okay, I might not have a written business plan, but you know what? 23 years of business, I've never had a written business plan. So, it's done me okay. Not everybody works that way. Not everyone's brains work that way. And for me it didn't. And, you know, I've taken some great journeys along the route to get where I am today. So yeah. So that was pretty cool. And yes, I've won quite a few awards over the years, just in different areas
Yeah.
of bookkeeping and payroll and training. Won a couple of training of the year awards
Yeah.
as well. So yeah, I've never kind of been one to sit on those accolades. It's kind of like, oh, yeah, that's great, right? Let's move on. I've got work to do. But I'm really having to, I'm really getting pulled back by people to go, actually, you really need to acknowledge
Yeah.
what you have done. And that's a bit of a learning journey itself, right? It's part of a self-development journey to just,
Yeah.
yeah, sit back and acknowledge those pieces of the puzzle. Mm.
It's you probably read my mind because my question or my thought was, when you have these awards, how do you celebrate? And I'm speaking to you because I'm similar to you. I have these things. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Just keep on going.
Mm.
It's just part
Yeah.
and parcel of life.
It's
But
that
I
whole, I don't know, tall poppy syndrome or something like, what is that? Why do we do that? I don't know. And I look back
yeah,
into that and it's like, yeah, there's probably a lot there emotionally, from
yeah,
childhood. And yeah, so it's like, actually, let's just stop a moment. Let's just stop a moment and acknowledge what it is that
yeah,
we've achieved here or that somebody has recognized. And it was actually one of my committee members. This year I got awarded the Service to Bookkeeping Award. And it was one of my fellow committee members who went, because I was like, this is my team, like the whole team's kind of done fantastic and we're doing really good with the institute. This is the Bookkeeping Institute. And one of my team members actually pulled me up and went, no, no, Di, this is not our award. This is your award. And you actually just need to stop. And she then wrote me a whole big email with all these things. And I was just like, bro. It was a good thing that she did because it did make me step back and go, oh, let's actually just acknowledge, yeah, what it is that we're achieving.
yeah,
Yeah, it's so important. New Zealanders are terrible at it. They
yeah.
really are.
Yeah,
Mm.
and it's really and I love you said that because we all do that thing, we don't stop and just acknowledge those wins. We don't have to go all out and have a crazy big party, but just
No,
having a moment to go, hey, this is awesome. I did
yeah,
this year.
go us. Well done.
Exactly,
Yeah.
pat on the back. And which is
Yeah.
one of the things I was talking to somebody yesterday about, when we did the boot camp, the sugar cubes thing that we did when people
Oh
write
my
about you.
God, that was amazing.
I was like, it's so crazy because these are strangers who you've just met and they write these things. You're like, whoa, because you
Yeah,
never stop to think about that. And
it was
I it's so
huge.
powerful. It's such a powerful
Oh, I
thing.
must
And
go back and read mine actually. Yes, that's true.
yeah,
I should do
you
that.
should, you should.
I will do that. Not
Yeah,
should. I will do that.
exactly. Yeah,
Hey, languaging, reframe.
La- language. No, and I love that thing. And I didn't want to spot. podcast about your business, but it is a big part of your life, and you've done so much in that space there, and you've been acknowledged for that, so which is really beautiful.
Mm.
But Di, as a human being, has gone through so much as well. And over the last 6 months, you've had a roller coaster of a journey. And
Yeah.
maybe you want to touch on that, or maybe you want to talk. I'd love to talk about, some of the growth that you've had as a person. We all see each people, and everyone seems to be
Yeah.
complete and hunky-dory, but
Yeah.
there's so much going on
Yeah.
behind us. And
No.
yeah, maybe some of the
Yeah.
challenges as a human that you go actually,
Yeah.
I think about myself, oh, imposter syndrome, these things come into play, and it just normalizes the conversation when we have those thoughts there.
Oh, totally. And I really want to acknowledge that because I don't have my shit together. Like I don't. I don't think anybody does. Um, we only see what we see,
Yeah.
right? And there is so it's like the tip of the iceberg. That's all you see. There is so much going on underneath that. So much going on. And I guess you talk about the last 6 months, but really, I kind of want to go back 4 years.
You can go as far back
Um,
as you want.
Oh,
Yeah.
5 years. Okay, we're going to talk about the We're not going to talk about the pandemic, but that's kind of was the start of a whole lot of things going on. For me, where well, I didn't have to, but I doubled down in support for our bookkeeping community because I was the president at the time there, and supporting our clients and supporting my staff. So there was a lot of what felt like a lot of pressure on me to assimilate information coming out of the government and disseminate it out to people in a way that they can understand, because that is one of my superpowers, being able to kind of put it out in plain English that people understand what it is that needs to happen. So that was through that pandemic space. So, there was a lot going on through that whole period of time. Um, Come into 2022, we had a ransomware attack on a piece of software in our business, and all of our data got locked. So it didn't get stolen, but it got locked down. This was a worldwide attack on this particular piece of equipment. And we just happened to get caught up in a little old on track. How did that happen? Like,
Yeah.
it's never going to happen to me, right?
Yeah.
Luckily, I had insurance. That whole episode ended up costing the insurance company $45,000 because our IT department, not our department, but the IT people that we were using at the time, weren't checking that the backups were working. We had no
Oh,
backups for 6 months.
wow.
So there was a lot going on over that period of time. That took 9 months to sort out. Um, Again, a lot of stress, a lot of pressure, everything going on. My father was also diagnosed with bladder cancer that year. So it was like all these balls in the air. Where does my time go? I went to a conference in, I believe it was September or October that year, and someone got up on stage and was talking about burnout. And I went, oh, that's me. That's where I'm at. Oh my goodness. I've had long-term stress for years, like right back to 2011. My health was knocking on my door and I was ignoring it. And I just went, oh, I need to make some changes. This is not okay. Came home from that, got COVID, got a sinus infection. I was out for 2 months. I
Wow.
was so sick. And isn't that funny? Realization, and then suddenly, whew,
Boom.
wiped out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy. Just come back to work the week before Christmas, busiest week of the year for payroll. So our payroll department, my whole team's out with COVID. I'm left to do 200 payrolls with one part-timer. Like,
Oh, wow.
seriously, it was crazy. So it's just like, oh my goodness. And then, of course, the financial economy started nosediving. We had clients moving, deciding to employ instead of contract for bookkeeping. We had a lot of movement going on. We had a lot of staff movement starting to happen. We had my dad having surgery. And it came down to um, I lost two of my senior bookkeepers within a short period of time. And I went, what am I doing? I've got 10 staff, I think it was. I had 10 staff that year that had reduced with the clients reducing. And I went, what am I doing? what am I doing here? All I'm doing is people managing. I hate people managing. It's not my thing. Where have I ended up? Right? And I had to kind of go, what do I need to do? I've got to make a
Yeah.
choice here. And so I made the choice to sell the bookkeeping and accounting part division of my business, and put that on the market. But in the meantime, I still needed to manage my client base. So I had to get contractors and like there was a lot going on. It was huge. In the meantime, my mum got a terminal diagnosis as well. So you can see it was just one thing after another, after another, after another. So 2024 sold my business, thank goodness. Started clearing out some headspace, dealing with mum's health, dealing with dad's health. There was heaps happening in that area. And then yeah. So for the last 6 months, it's been dealing with my mum, looking after her, which was such an honor and a privilege. She passed away nearly 3 months ago now, so beginning of July, and I'm not going to cry. Actually, I might cry, but that's okay. Yeah,
That's
it
always
was
good.
quite a
Yeah.
journey, and
Yeah.
yeah, and it was such an honor to hold her hand, to be with her as, life got pretty tough for her. I spent a week in hospice with her the first time, and then she was only home 4 or 5 days and ended up back in hospital. And yeah, spent the last 5 days of her life with her 24/7. Yeah, very honored. Mm. So yeah, that's been massive. It's been a massive journey.
Yeah.
Yeah, here I find myself. What do I do now? What do I do with
Yeah.
my life now? I sold most of my business. Um, I've lost my mum. I've still got my dad. I'm very blessed to have dad. He's doing well. He's doing okay. He's cancer free, which is whew, fantastic. Um, but yeah, it's been a heck of a journey to find myself here. So I've still got my payroll business, and in amongst all of that goings on, I started another business because why wouldn't I?
Why not,
What was
right?
I thinking? What was I thinking?
Burnout. Burnout. What's
Another
that? What's that?
business.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go and do some speaker training. Let's go and throw this in amongst everything that's going on. Yeah, because that's the
Yeah.
kind of that was where that's what I've always been like just add something else to the box, add something else to the box. And I've kind of got to this point with mum dying, and it's like, okay, Di, you can choose to keep doing that, or you can choose something different. And I feel like I'm at a real pinnacle, not sure of the word, pivotal, pinnacle, like important point in my
Yeah.
life where what I choose today is, this is the first day of the rest of my life. What am I choosing? What am I choosing today that's going to put me on the path that I want for the rest of my life?
Yeah.
And going back to the way I was is not it.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Mm. That's quite mind-blowing at the moment. It's just like, okay, what does this look like? And I find myself falling back into the busy work. And it's like, no, let's just pull back out of that and yeah, just let it percolate and think about, where do I want to go? Where do I
Yeah.
want to go with this?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Whew, it's big. It is big.
It is big, but also what I love about it's real, right? It's real, and
It's so
sometimes
real. It's
we don't
so
talk about
real.
the real stories,
Mm.
it's real, and it's so thank you for sharing, and also the emotion, but it wasn't. Again, it's like you said before, it's a culmination of a lot of things happen in your life, but at the same time,
Yeah,
it's
it's not one thing.
yeah,
Mm.
and you said, as you said right before, the universe provides and the universe provides.
Yeah.
And the fact that you sold your business at that point in time allowed you to
Mm.
spend time with your mum.
Oh my
It's
gosh,
crazy
yes,
how
I
things
couldn't have
happen.
done it. I couldn't
Yeah,
have done it otherwise. It was just like, okay, was setting me up for what I needed to do to be there,
yeah,
to,
yeah,
just be able to check out. So, things with my business now is my payroll department's got my manager in there. who was always there. So the payroll department's always been quite self-sufficient. It was the
Yeah.
bookkeeping department that needed a lot of my time, and that's gone now. So
Yeah.
it's like I'm only needed in there if, there's a tricky payroll question that they want to run by me or talk through, or if my manager goes on holiday, so I've been filling in for payroll for the last 2 weeks. So, which is good because it kind of keeps my hand in the game of the day-to-day stuff while I teach it at the other end through my other business. So yeah, that's
That's
cool.
it's
That's
cool,
cool.
and that's cool. I'm gonna use the word cool as well because I think it's really cool and really privileged and an honor that you got to spend time with your mum as she went through
Uh,
her, you know,
honestly, I just really want to thank myself for giving myself that
yeah,
because oh my gosh, you can't ever go back and redo that. You can't ever go,
yes,
oh, I might do that now, or I wish I'd done that. I'd never wanted to. The reasoning around that for me was I never wanted to get into my future and go, I wish I'd done that.
yep,
And that's what I really have been thinking about the last few years. It's like I don't ever want to go, I wish I'd spent more time with my parents, with my children, because I've got years of going, I wish I'd done more with my kids when I was younger instead of working, all the hours I
yes,
worked. I don't want that for my future,
yeah,
I don't want that for my future. So yeah, so it's really around, for me, it's about conscious decision making, like that's where I'm at. It's consciously deciding, consciously choosing what's next, what's
yeah,
actually best for me, not for everyone else, because I've spent all my life looking after everyone else. It's like actually what is best for me now? What
yeah,
is what does supporting me look like?
yeah.
Yeah. Huge, right? Like,
It's huge.
yeah.
It's huge because the other thing as well, it's huge because mm, every one of us, we live a life making choices based on other people's expectations, other
Yeah.
people's
Yes.
whatever other people put into us,
Mm,
and it's only which first of all, I'm going to acknowledge you for celebrating the fact that you did that there, because you celebrated there for a
thank
second, which
you.
is great. But
Yeah.
also when you have space to go, actually now I'm making a choice for me, and I said it because people think that's selfish, but actually that's
Mm.
selfless.
It's
It's a self.
selfless. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. It is selfless. Like no one else is going to do it for us.
yeah,
Right. And if we're not taking care of us as in body, mind, soul, if we're not taking care of all of those pieces,
yeah.
then we're not able to give what we would like to give to support others.
That's right.
So we're supporting from an empty cup, right?
Yeah,
Because we give, 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 and then therefore our energy depletes. We can't build it back up. Our health deteriorates. We can't get it back up because we're constantly putting all our energy out into the stratosphere and into everyone else and everything else that's going on. And it's like we're pulling out every last drop, like we're
yeah,
squeezing out every last drop of energy until there's no energy left. And then what happens?
yeah,
We find ourselves sick in hospital or dead.
yeah. That's right. Yeah,
That's the reality.
and it's too late,
And
right? At
that,
that point, it's too late. Yeah,
yeah. And when I reflect back on, the last, oh, okay, my whole life, probably, to be honest, that's how it's been. It's kind of this mother to many archetype. I'm going to look after everyone else.
yeah,
But a lot of times there was nothing there for me to give,
yeah,
you know? Health gets affected, life gets affected, mood gets affected. It's like,
yeah,
hang on a minute, you know? Mm. And then, just saying what's happened with my parents, and you think, wow, I can make changes now. I can make changes now. It's too late when it starts happening. I can make changes now.
and that's so
So I
profound, right?
encourage
It's
everyone, make changes now. Well, you can. The younger,
yeah,
the better.
yeah, and but it's like you said, and also I had Sarah Robb a few weeks ago on the podcast, and she said exactly the same thing. It's every decision you make is a choice.
Yes,
It's not a good or bad choice. It's just a choice,
it's just a choice.
And then
Yeah,
you have the repercussions of the choice, whatever those
yeah.
repercussions are.
Had a few conversations like this come up recently, and it really is. You know, it's about making a choice and then not being ashamed of that choice or not being
Yeah,
afraid of that choice. Like make the choice and be strong in that. Be
yeah,
really strong in your choices. Give it thought. Don't take what everyone else, like you said earlier, what everyone else's expectations of you. Because if you live under everyone else's expectations, then your energy's out there. It's not
yeah,
here.
yeah,
It's not in your heart, right? Um, and it's yeah, but it's been choosing. Like even when bad things happen, right? Something really bad happens. Like I lost my mum. I could choose to wallow in my grief and sit in that grief and that loss and not move from that. That's the choice I could make.
yeah,
Or I
definitely.
can choose to honor my mum's life and the life that she had and what she wouldn't want me doing that. I know that. But for me, it's like you can sit there or you can move through it. I want you to honor it and I want you to feel all those feelings because that piece is super important. Super, super important that we actually feel all of the feelings around whatever's going on in our lives. But we can't stay there because if we stay there, we're stuck there,
Yes,
right? And we've got to move through it. And that's my inspiration is like, I can't stay here. I'm honoring how I'm feeling, and I'm going to sit here and I'm going to cry and I'm going to rant and I'm going to get angry and I'm going to do all the things for whatever it is I'm feeling. But I'm going to honor that and then I'm going to put that down and move forward. And
yeah,
it might come back. It might end up back on my lap and I'll honor it again
yeah,
at some stage. Grief is different for everyone and it can last for
yeah,
years.
yeah,
But we can't get stuck in it. It's not about ignoring it or plugging the hole. It's around honoring the hole that's left. And when you
yeah,
feel that hole sitting and feeling it and honoring that feeling, and then right, what's next? One foot in front of the other. Next
yeah,
steps.
yeah,
Making that choice to do that.
yeah. And
Yeah.
you've said it so beautifully because a lot of people go, it's got to be one or the other. You can't have both, but life is not binary.
No.
And I think when you try and live a life of binary, this is when the problems are happening. But you go, hey, as you
Yeah.
said, you can be sitting having the most fantastic time, and grief can just come in, and it's not you're pushing away,
Yep.
it's
Oh,
honoring
it
it, and then
does.
yeah, exactly, yeah, and
Quite
this is
often
why
turns up at the
podcasts,
most inopportune time, but that's okay. You just you just got to go with it.
exactly now,
Mm.
and thank you for that. There. And why I'm thanking you is because for our listeners out there, and also for myself, it's important to remember that Um, actually, I have a client of mine that I'm working with, and she's a coach and she works in grief, but she is struggling with that. And I said to her, I was like, what is everything that every single person in this life is going to experience? And she was like, I don't know. I was like, grief, every single person, every one of us. It doesn't matter what grief looks like, whether it could be the passing of a loved one, it could be you have a breakup in a relationship, it could be your car broke down, it could be something stolen. It doesn't matter what the grief is, but every single one of us experiences grief. And when I said that to her, it was a light bulb for me because like, yeah, this is true, which is why to her I was like, this is why the amazing gift that you have to the world is you can work through that there. But she
Mm.
didn't see that there. But as you spoke about it today, it's not about the fact that, hey, grief doesn't happen. Grief happens. It's how you sit with it in the moment. And sometimes you need someone to
Yeah.
allow you to do that there.
Yeah, totally, totally. Because, what do we do with all these feelings that come up that we get overwhelmed with?
Yeah,
And like talking through that with somebody is really helpful to help you kind of work through it
yeah,
and help you get out of that stuck, right? Because
yeah,
we can get stuck in these emotions.
yeah,
Um, yeah, yeah.
yeah. No,
Mm,
it's
thank you.
and it's no, thank you for doing that there. And I'm going to segue just a little bit, but still
Mm,
keeping in touch with the part because one of
mm,
the things, as I said at the start, was your warmth and the fact that you honor spaces. Your you might not realize this, but I'm going to tell you this here. But
Okay.
you have this energy around you, which is really warm and welcoming, and it's as you've just spoken right now about your mom and grief.
Mm,
It seems to invite the fact that hey, you acknowledge that the universe is around you and doing things for you, with you, and against you, whatever.
mm.
Has this always been something that you have acknowledged in life that hey, I am part of the universe and the universe is there, or is it something you've learned as you've gone through life?
That's a really interesting question. It has always been there, but it was very much suppressed as a child. Um, I was told I shouldn't know stuff. I shouldn't, like, you can't, if you can't see it, it's not real. Lots of those kind of things. I've been so I'm an empath. I feel other people's feelings.
Yeah.
And as a child, that was very overwhelming because I didn't understand them. And when you have parents who didn't talk about feelings, like I knew I was loved in my heart because I could feel it, but we never talked about love. We never, there weren't hugs, there weren't arguments. It was like, it was a very kind of vanilla, I guess, emotionally, growing up. And when you've got all these feelings and you don't know what they are, and you don't know how to talk about them because nobody talks about feelings,
Yes.
it's very overwhelming. So I kind of internalized a lot, lived a lot in my head, did very much my own thing. I wasn't a leader, wasn't a follower. I kind of just did my own thing quite a lot, as a child. And I, I felt there was so much more to the world than what you could just see. And I remember standing on our front lawn when I was about 9 or 10 years old, literally saying that there is so much more to life than this, surely.
Wow.
So looking back, yes, I knew that, but it was very much suppressed. And it was only kind of, I guess, probably in the last um, probably 10, 15 years that I've really understood so much more about, the universe, the law, uh, your divine inner guidance that you have. Like we all have it. We all have intuition, right? When something doesn't feel right or something doesn't feels off, that's your intuition talking to you. Or giving you clues as to what's going on out there. So yeah, I look back and I have lived by intuition, very much so, but didn't realize that's what I was doing. I wasn't consciously living by intuition, whereas now I'm consciously living by intuition. Previously, I was very unconsciously doing it. So it's whole like unconsciously incompetent, sort of going all through all
Yep.
the steps there.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's kind of how I live very much now, is like really just listening and feeling, what does that feel right? What does that
Yeah.
feel like? Does it feel right? Does it feel heavy? Does it feel light? There's
Yeah.
lots of that. And I'm a big one. I'm like, if you're stuck in life or you don't know what to do, just ask the question. You don't even have to believe in that any of that is out there. Just ask the question, because the more questions we ask, the more we invite in,
Yep.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
how does it get better than this? That's the best question you can ask, no matter what your situation, whether you're happy, sad, whatever, just how does it get better than this? And just put it out there. Mm,
I love that. And I love that.
mm,
I love that in so many ways because, it's such a amazing for me as I listen to this and for anyone listening. It's you have this world where it's so locked in terms of numbers and precise
yeah.
and follow a
So
process.
linear, so
A
linear.
very linear world. But on the other side, you live a world which is so I'm gonna go
Yeah,
because nobody can explain it, right? It's just
yeah,
and the two can work together,
yeah,
and I think this is important. You can't again, it's not binary. You can have both.
yeah, yeah. There's so much more than we can see, right? There's so much more
Yeah.
life than we can see, and it's incredible when you drop into that and just understand that there is so much more out there, and that's why I say just ask the question and see what happens.
Yeah.
Just ask the question. Mm,
Yeah. And the
mm.
worst is no. That's okay. At least now you know.
Worse is nothing will happen,
That's right,
right?
exactly.
There's
Yeah, that's right.
worse that will
Yeah.
happen. There's nothing will change. But
Yeah.
if you want something to change, like ask for it. Ask for exactly what you want.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what you want, ask, so how does it get better than this?
Oh,
Yeah,
beautiful. That's so
yeah.
true. You don't ask, you don't get.
Or what else is possible?
Yeah.
What else is possible?
That's so powerful. That's so
Yeah,
powerful.
It really
It's
is. It really
so
is.
powerful. Yeah, what else is possible? Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
What
What
a,
else is possible? Show me what else is possible.
yeah.
You'll be amazed what comes in. Yeah.
Yeah. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
great coaching question. I might steal that. I might steal that.
You can steal that from me. I'll let you.
Oh, thank you. So kind. So kind. Talking
Sweet.
about stealing wisdom from you, Adai,
Mm.
we've been chatting for almost an hour or so. I mean, the time has just flown, which I knew
Yes,
was
it
going to happen.
has. I can't believe it's been in. Oh, great.
But I don't want to just close up. I mean, I've just spoken about stuff that I know about you, but is there anything that
Yeah.
you feel that you'd like to share that maybe I don't know about you that you think might be our listeners might like to hear about? Or if not,
Mm.
that's okay as well.
Mm.
Um,
Ah. Hmm. If you want to know anything about payroll, let me know. So I am a payroll expert in New Zealand, and that is kind of my job now, if you want to call it a job, is training people in New Zealand payroll legislation. And just how to be a good business owner. Like, what do I need to know? All these people go and start businesses, right? New Zealand is the easiest country in the world to start a business. So people go and start a business, great, no worries. They have no idea how to be a business owner, right? They
yeah.
might have been on the tools, building houses, what have you. And we see this quite often. Oh, I'm going to go out on my own because, I'm going to get a lot more money doing that. And what we're doing is we're buying ourselves a whole lot of stress, a whole lot of extra hats we have to wear because we've got our marketing hat, our sales hat, our accounts hat, our payroll hat, our strategy hat. We've got all these extra hats we have to wear that they don't realize when we go and start a business. So um, I'm not saying don't start a business. I believe in like entrepreneurship, like go for it. But just for goodness sakes, go and get some advice. Go and get the right advice. Put some money into it and get the right advice from the right people. Because I have seen so many businesses fall over because they didn't. They did the typical Kiwi DIY business ownership and end up like in the cart. And I don't want that for anybody. Like I'm so passionate about this. I want people to get this right. So go and get some advice. Go and get some advice from whoever it needs to be. But if you're going to start a business, get some advice. If you're going to employ people, for goodness sakes, go and get some advice first, not from your mate down the road who's a business owner too, and this is how he does it. Go and get advice from the right people. So keep yourself safe. Yeah.
And I love that because people are starting business left, right, and center at the moment because it's
I
easier, as you said,
know.
it's easy. And
I
don't go to
know.
anybody, just go to Di. Di's right here. She's looking for something to
Yeah,
do.
sorry, get on my soapbox a little bit about this stuff. Same with payroll, payroll legislation. So many people doing payroll who actually have no idea. They have no idea. Punch some numbers into the software, just spits it out for me, doesn't it? Okay, guys, software is a tool. I'm gonna share an analogy with you that I recently kind of came up with. And it's like back in the old days when we needed to build something, we had a rock and we had a piece of doweling, if you like, and we'd bang two bits of wood together with that, and we'd break a few fingers and what have you along the way. Then we kind of converted that into hammers and nails, right? Which is a whole lot easier. It was a lot safer. We could join two bits together. We might have banged our thumb every now and again, but we still got there. Then these nail guns came out, right? We've got nail guns now, which just point and shoot. It's great. But if you don't know where to shoot, if you don't know where to bang that nail, and if you don't know which way to put those two pieces of wood together, your house isn't going to stay up,
Yeah.
right? It's the same with software. Software is a tool. It's a tool for you to use. You've got to know what to put in it. You've got to know how to put it in. You've got to know how to set it up properly, right? Set up the bits of wood to get the right result. Same with software. You've got to set it up to get the right result. And then you've got to put the right data in to then get the right reports out to get the right information. If you don't know what that's meant to look like if you don't know what your house is meant to look like when you're done, there's no way you're going to be able to build it.
Yeah.
So you've got to understand what this is meant to look like to be able to put the data, the critical thinking around the data going into software to get the right result. If you don't know what that result's meant to look like, you have no idea whether that house is going to stand up or not. And this is where payroll falls over all the time
Yeah.
because people are just punching in some numbers and pushing a button. Okay, there we go. That's what we're going to pay you today. And holy hecker. right? So that's my analogy. Did you like that? That's a new
I
analogy
loved
I
it.
came up
I
with.
loved it. What
Does
a
it
lovely
work?
analogy. It's
Excellent.
beautiful.
You're the first one I've tried it on.
And you know
Okay.
what? I'm going to say, it's actually not just payroll in anywhere where software is used, right? This is the
Any
analogy that
software.
can, yeah,
Yeah.
love
Any
it.
software. It's
Yeah,
exactly right. And it just blows my mind when payroll is generally one of the biggest expenses for any business. And we've got someone untrained doing the payroll.
yeah, yeah,
Like the receptionist is punching in the numbers to payroll. Where's the training? Where's the training of this person? Payroll is a profession in its own right.
yeah,
And it said that it's the most complicated legislation, payroll legislation in the world. Our Holidays Act
yeah,
is the most complicated. Whew, blows my mind. So that's why I teach it. Plain English, people can understand it, implement it, and sort themselves out. Because we've seen it time and time again, and we've seen people get in trouble time and time again, come to us, what have I done? What's going on? And
yeah,
yeah, like we can't do the payroll for every business in New Zealand, but I can teach people and create ripples,
yeah,
right? For me, it's about creating ripples. If we can teach one, then
yeah.
everyone rises
That's
together.
right,
So
exactly. Yeah.
yeah, leave
It's
the ladder down.
it's really quite funny, Di. I have the utmost respect for payroll. Because when I joined my current role, I'd never thought about payroll before, but now I work in HR and
Yeah.
I work with the payroll team, and my mind is blown. And initially I was like, oh, you guys, you've got the easiest job in the whole wide world. Just go exactly. I was like, you just press a button, and they're like, well, Prajesh, let us show you this. And they would just pull. I was like, ugh,
Come
just
spend the
show
day
me.
with
Yeah.
me.
And I
I
was like,
know,
holy smokes.
I don't know. And people think, oh, payroll and HR are the same thing. They're two completely different professions, completely different.
Yeah.
But HR needs to know that whatever they're agreeing to in employment contracts is actually workable in payroll in the first place and
Yeah.
not having to create manual workarounds to make things happen. That's one of the biggest things we see as well. And without the understanding of that from an HR perspective of what needs to happen at that end, oh, we see some amazing contracts and things written into contracts, and we just go, wow, this is great for this person, but how are we meant to make this work?
Yeah.
It's just incredible. Yeah.
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 And what it's taught me, it's taught me to respect whatever profession is out there.
Mm,
You have no idea what how valuable that person's role is. Like
yeah.
no idea at all. So,
Yeah.
whether it's payroll or whether it's recruitment or
Yeah.
whatever it is, whether it's
Yeah.
plumbing, engineering,
Yeah.
everyone's
Unless you're
role.
walking in those shoes, right? You
You have
you
no
have no
idea.
idea what's actually involved. And it's
Yeah.
quite interesting because that's actually there's a hashtag for the Small Business Training Hub that's where I do all my training called You Don't Know What You Don't Know.
Yep.
Because you don't know what you don't know until you do know what you don't know.
Exactly,
And
100%. And then you realize
yeah.
you don't know anything. You go, oh, the more you know, the less you know, right?
I know, it's a
Yeah.
thing. It's actually
Yeah.
a
It's
thing, isn't it?
it's
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
it's so crazy. And I
Yeah.
love that. I love that's the way we've come to where we are at the moment, because it's a great full circle moment, starting with where you were 23 years ago to
Mm,
where you are right now. But not just
mm,
with the business sense, but actually you as a human being and how you've
mm.
adapted and changed and had to wield
Yeah.
the different hats and lean into intuition, which is really beautiful. But I'm not gonna let you go just yet, Di. We have
No,
one
it's
question.
good.
We have one final
Mm.
question that we ask all our guests.
You're going to put me on the spot, aren't you?
We do this all the time. This is the one question every guest asks. You have shared a lot of knowledge today, and our
Mm,
podcast is called Baskets of Knowledge. And we
mm.
always invite our guests to share one piece of knowledge to put into our basket. This could be from any aspect of your life that our listeners, myself, would go, oh, this is pretty cool.
I guess, I guess for me, I want to, I love inspiring people, and I really just want to inspire everybody to stay curious, keep asking questions, whatever that looks like, whether it's of the universe or just find out more. Don't just take answers for face value, like dig into why. I love finding out people's why, or why do we do this way, or what is that all about? What drives you? So just stay curious because, man, that opens up a massive amount of opportunities and doors for yourself, really. And then the second part of that is choose well.
Yep.
Oh, I just came up with that. Choose well. It's not quite what I was thinking of saying, but there you go. Choose well, right? Because make a choice, firstly, like consciously choose and choose well. Mm,
Yeah.
yeah,
I love those two, the fact that they stay curious, a lot
yeah,
of us don't stay curious, we just take things at face value. And
yeah.
I say a lot of us because the world has changed, we just get fed all this information
Oh my gosh,
and
I
we
know. It's getting
can't get on
thrown
board.
at us, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So, yeah, I like that, stay curious. And also, which links up to that, you get all this information, staying
Yeah.
curious, and then you make a conscious choice.
Yes.
Yep, so it
Yeah.
really ties up really well. So thank you
Yeah.
for that there.
Thank you. Oh, no,
Beautiful.
thank you. Gosh, you put me on the spot there. It's like, oh, yeah. There you go. I've got so
Okay.
much to share. Like, how do I pin that down into one? You got two. There you go.
I got two for the price of one. Bonus, fantastic. But
Absolutely.
it's been a real privilege and honor having you on. I mean, I could have you on for a couple of hours, but that might be another podcast
I've
episode.
really enjoyed talking to you. Yeah. Thank you so much.
I think
Yeah, honored to be invited. I really am.
no worries. Thank you so much. For our listeners out there, hopefully you have not just learned something, but you've also gone through your own reflection as you heard what Di spoke about, not just a business, but also as you spoke about grief, intuition, the challenges and the realities and the celebration. Celebrating wins is really important.
Yes,
And
celebrating
if you,
wins.
yeah, and if you haven't, it's because you've fallen asleep. You got to go back and listen again. So you better do that there.
I hope you haven't fallen asleep.
But till next time, to our listeners, a huge acknowledgement to you, Di, and for our listeners, don't
Thank
forget
you.
to keep smiling, put something in your basket of knowledge, and as Di said, stay curious, and don't forget to choose consciously. Till next
Yeah.
time, kakite, bye everybody.
See you
Peace.
later.
Thank you for listening to Baskets of Knowledge. Yeah, we hope that you found something useful to put into your basket of knowledge. And as we said before, remember to put something little into your baskets of knowledge every week. And as always, feel free to like, comment, and share this podcast. Thanks, everybody. Bye.